All right, time for another Mariners video, but this one might be short because there really isn't much to criticize anymore, guys. What can we say other than life is good? 18 games above 500. Pretty much a lock to make the playoffs. It's basically a done deal, by the way. And I'm gonna say this right up front. Don't watch this video if you want any like dooming about how it's still possible we miss the playoffs and how after every loss we need a fire service and Castillo's terrible because he blew one game in a season where he's actually been lights out for the last 4 months and oh my God, what's going on with Winker? Why can't we bench Winker? Why does Winker ever play? That's not happening. That's not happening in this video, guys. If you want somebody to be complaining about that stuff because we don't hit a home run every single at bat and because our pitchers don't throw a strikeout every single at bat, it's not happening here. All right? Good vibes only. That's not just a slogan. It's a goddamn message because believe me, I see it on the Twitters, I see it on the Facebooks. People just I don't understand it. They're just it's just bizarre to me how this team can be so good, playing such good baseball, have the playoffs virtually on lock, and it takes so little for these guys to just get set off. So I'm going to say that right now. If you're here expecting a Mariners doomer who's just panicking because we're not going to have 15 different Cy Young winners on our pitching staff this year, that we're not going to have a whole team full of Gold Glovers, no, just no. Last 10 games have been productive. We took 2 or 3 from the Braves, which, as far as I'm concerned, like, if you had any doubts about the Mariners being able to compete with the best teams in the league, you shouldn't have doubts now. Like, taking 2 or 3 from the Braves, who are playing as good as anybody right now, that should tell you it's not just us feasting on a weak schedule. We can play with good teams, too. We did a great job against Cleveland, and by the time we got to that White Sox series, to be perfectly honest, we just needed a break. We needed a break. We lost 2 of 3. One game because we had just played basically a 10-hour game the day before. The other game because we committed a bunch of errors and it got away from us. Like, I can't get mad at that. That's just something that's going to happen in a 162 game season. And again, I don't really have a lot to criticize right now because the team is playing so well. Again, you're not going to get a home run every at bat. You're not going to get a strikeout every single time your pitcher goes out there on the mound to face a batter. So, good vibes only, really. I went to the game on Sunday, by the way, so I'm feeling really good vibes right now because I didn't go to a game all year. I went to the one that ended up probably being the game of the year, and yeah. But the thing is, the team can get better. Usually, I don't say this with the Mariners. Usually, I'm like, okay, we're pretty much capped out. Or I say we're really, really bad, but we can get to average. No, we're really, really good right now, and we've got several players going through legitimate slumps. Like, several players on this team, like Mitch Haniger's been cold for a couple weeks now. His Ops Plus is somehow below 100. Jesse Winker, everyone's killing Jesse Winker. I don't totally get, I mean, I know why, but guys, lay off. The dude still has an Ops Plus above 100. He is our best pitch count worker on the team. He is our best pitch count worker. He makes pitchers work harder than anyone else on this team, and it's not close. He's adjusting to the American League. Okay, this is a thing. This is not something I'm making up. Jesse Winker goes from the NL to the AL. Different pitchers throw different styles of games, and you get the results that you get. You get a player who is not hitting the ball the way he was last year, and I get it. It's frustrating. But at the same time, like, look at the stats, look at the numbers. This is not a bad batter. All right, this guy is still a productive batter. So, lay off. But if you want to just talk about his ability to hit, yeah, he's going through a little bit of a slump. He's still finding ways to impact the game positively. Haniger's going through a slump, only one of our best batters, and yet we keep winning. So, I'm not sitting here saying, yeah, we're terrible, but we can get average. No, I'm saying we're good and we can get great. Like Adam Frazier, I understand that he's never going to be a great hitter because he doesn't have enough pop, but he's starting to get on base now. He's starting to even steal the occasional base so he can stretch some of those singles, which is most of the time all he hits. stretch them into doubles, in effect. And that has a very positive impact on this team. Ty France scuffling a little bit, but we know how good Ty France is. I have no doubt about that. And with all that, we're still scoring. We're still winning games. And you can see where this team in their lineup can get better. I love the way things are going with this lineup right now, personally. I have very little to criticize. Slumps are going to happen. Maybe JP, but here's the thing. JP's batting 8 or 9 pretty much every game now. Like, you can have a mediocre hitter down there, and he is mediocre, but he's not hopeless. He's not like Justin Upton, so I can live with that. I can take the subpar bat. He's been subpar for several months now, I admit that, but I can deal with that from a number 8 or number 9. We'll deal with the shortstop thing in the offseason. And the pitching, look, I almost saw a meltdown for the ages from the bullpen, right? The bullpen that's been so great this year. And everyone wants to panic and freak out like we haven't had pretty much the best bullpen in the league all year. Like, okay, they let one game against an elite offense in Atlanta get away from them, and then we bail them out. Sewald and Castillo. Mostly Castillo, by the way. Yes, Castillo messed up. Yes, Castillo, I don't know what to say about that other than hopefully that doesn't happen again. But Castillo's been so good for most of this year. Sewald's been good for most of this year. Swanson gave up his first run in like an eternity. And just keep things in perspective here, guys. The bullpen was eventually going to blow a game. Let's just be happy that they blew a game and then we still won it. Like how many times this year has the bullpen legitimately blown a game? It's like Munoz gave up a lead against Cleveland a couple weeks ago, but he got terribly unlucky in that game. I can't put that on Munoz at all. You've got that one game that I think it was, I think Sewald gave up the 3-run home run to Tampa Bay. That was months and months. I can't even remember. Was that 4 months ago? So, on the whole, we still have a bullpen that shuts them down most of the time. We got plenty of guys in this pen who I would bet on. And, look, obviously we have a pretty clear top 3 right now. You've got Munoz is probably our best bullpen pitcher. You've got Swanson, and then you've got Sewald. So Castillo doesn't need to be a high-leverage pitcher right now. We have enough high-leverage pitchers for Castillo to be a guy you put in less often, less frequently, and in more comfortable spots. And you've also got, by the way, guys like Matt Brash, who has really come along as a bullpen pitcher. I got to see him pitch an inning when I was there yesterday. Great stuff, phenomenal stuff from him. He could end up coming in for a guy like Sewald if Sewald continues to scuffle a little bit, because it's not been a perfectly good year for him. But there's so much good going on in this pen that, I don't know, it just really kind of seeing the people who react to everything on Twitter, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I know this team hasn't been good for a long time, and they finally are, and you really want to make the playoffs, and you don't want to see it slip away because we blow winnable games, but let's just calm down here and understand. These guys are not superheroes, superhumans. They're humans. So, good vibes, good vibes. And the starters, I don't even need to comment on the starters. They're so good. It's not always going to be perfect, but once again, I'm going to maintain what I've always said. You are going to have bad starts. We have very few. Quality starts left, right, center, everywhere. So, what else can I say other than that? And yeah, that's really all I can think of to say, guys. I just don't have very much to criticize. I don't love the way Service manages the bullpen sometimes. Sometimes I look at that pen management and feel like, did you really need to put that guy out there then? Why didn't you pull that guy earlier? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I have questions, but the bullpen, for as much as I occasionally feel concern over it, it's won pretty much every game they've been involved in. It's so rare for them to actually lose a game that how can you be that critical of it? Sometimes things don't make sense. Sometimes I call them out. Sometimes it gets frustrating, but we keep winning. And the results keep being good. The bullpen keeps things clean, game after game after game. So I'm really struggling to figure out what else I can say in this video, because the team is just executing on pretty much every level. They survive slumps from two of their best bats, in Mitch and France. Those two guys not playing well, it doesn't matter. We still score. The team is able to deal with an occasional rough outing from a bullpen pitcher and still find a way to win. They're able to get a mediocre start from a pitcher and still stay in the game and sometimes still find a way to win the game. And here we are, pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot. So I'm good. I'm happy. There's nothing that I can think of to be unhappy about right now, really. These guys are not perfect, but they bring it. They bring it consistently. They bring it more than most other teams in the league. And I'll say it again. We don't have a big payroll. We are one of the teams that is succeeding despite having a low payroll. Bottom 10 payroll, way better than bottom 10 results. So hopefully this offseason we can spend money and turn this into an elite, like maybe best team in the league type team. But for now, complaining about anything going on with this team. And you look at the decision making too. Like, look at what Juan Soto has done since he went to San Diego. Like, some Mariners fans were pounding the table for Juan Soto. If we had traded all that stuff for Soto and then he came here and put up those numbers, what do you think those people would be doing now? Like, how bad would it be? just putting that out there, by the way. I don't want to go after Mariners fans because we're all on the same team at the end of the day, and things are going really well for us, and we should all be very happy about it. But I don't know. The overreactions I see after every little bad thing that happens on Twitter and Facebook, they're just like, I just wish people could keep a 162 game season in perspective. That's all. All right, that's all I got. See you guys later. Go Mariners, and another game tonight. See you guys soon.